chainsaws. If you are looking to either start sourcing or cutting up your own wood for wood turning, you don't have a saw, hopefully this will help. For somebody that has a saw but isn't really thrilled with it, this will hopefully also help. But this Stihl 461 is my main saw. It will handle 95% of everything that I process. Of course, I'm still using my sawmill for most everything, but this is used for bucking up big logs, cutting slabs from the sawmill into bowl blanks. It does the job really well. It has a 24-inch bar on it. It is probably a little bigger than most people will need if you're doing smaller turnings. Under 16 inches or up to 16 inches, a size below this that'll pull a 20-inch bar with authority would be great. If you're looking at smaller turnings yet, another option could be an electric saw. The battery ones anymore are getting really, really good. If you're doing smaller stuff and you're not processing a ton of stuff at a time, they work great. They have got a thinner kerf bar. They chew right through wood wonderfully. I would say that regardless of the saw you buy, to always go with a professional level saw from one of the big manufacturers. So in the U.S. here, Stihl and Husqvarna are the big two. And within those brands, they have ones that they'll sell in big box stores like Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever you have around you. I would avoid those if you can. They're cheaper, but they get harder to find parts for. So if you get a pro level saw, you'll be able to get parts for them for many, many, many years. I have an older, or pretty old 660 that I can still go to the local chainsaw supply shops and buy whatever parts I need, and usually they have them in stock. If they don't, they can get them in a couple days. So anyhow, other than that, I'm going to go through just some general maintenance and upkeep, and you'll see that it's really easy, nothing to be scared of. The next video, I'm going to cover how to use a chainsaw properly and safely. But for today, let's just go over a few things. So the first thing is going to be air filter maintenance. So take the cover off, super simple, pull the filter off. You can see this is pretty dirty. That's from one good long day of processing. And I'll just take air hose from the inside. I'm doing that from the inside. You want to push the dirt out. If you do it from the outside, there's a chance you could start working the dirt in through the filter. Once that's done, if there's any dirt and debris around here, I'll just quickly clean it off. There's not too much. This one's pretty good. And simply put the filter back on, make sure it's seating really well the whole way around, and tighten it back up. So you want to do that every time you use the saw. So for fueling, the back tank is for gas. It is a pre-mixed oil and gas mix because it is a two-stroke. This is, this one you mix with 2 full gallons. I have the 1 gallon containers, but this is the brand I use. Great stuff. I'll simply take the cap off. Fill it with gas. And don't overfill it like I just did. Cap back on. Come on, there we go. And then oil for the bar and chain lube. I guess not oil, it is bar and chain lube. Which is basically a real thick oil. Goes in the front. You always want to make sure that this is plenty of oil in it. You don't want to run a chain dry. Good to go. Head back on. All right, so chain tension. This one is just on the loose side. It's usually better to run a chain just a little bit loose than it is over tight. You don't want to get it to where, you're doing this and it won't come off of the bar and you're running at too much tension on it. So super simple. Loosen the 2 nuts. Just a little bit more tension on it. Tighten her back up. Yeah, it's just about perfect there. Can't quite pull the teeth of this bottom here out of the bar. So that is about where I run mine. So sharpening. 2 parts to sharpening a chainsaw. You have the teeth that cut, and you have the rakers that are basically providing a depth stop for the cutters. So you can sharpen the teeth a couple times before you lower the rakers, but I've seen a lot is people will only ever sharpen the teeth. Teeth will be razor sharp, but the chain isn't cutting because the rakers are too high. So a really good solution, you can file with just a straight file for the teeth, and you can get a flat file to lower the rakers, and then you can get what's called a raker depth check. It kind of fits over the raker, and then you just file off the excess. What I love to use is this steel branded file. It'll sharpen the teeth and lower the rakers at the same time. It's fantastic. It makes things real simple. You don't have to have multiple tools to do one job. The files are replaceable. You can pull them all out, slide a new one in as needed, and it's pretty much foolproof. And then, if you can see, so this line you want to have parallel to the bar. Super simple. Just lay it right on that tooth, keep it nice and flat, and then nice even strokes. Until it is sharp. And then just continue down. I tend to do one side, one direction, the whole way down a chain. Oops. I'll go the whole way down, sharpening the teeth that go this direction. And then once I get all of the teeth down on that side, I'll flip it around and do the other side. Generally, you'll find that you'll be able to get all the teeth sharp with the same number of strokes. For me, it's usually 4 or 5, just because I don't let my chains get very far. I'll touch them up pretty frequently. So, and there is a better view. You can see this line running parallel to the bar. So that's pretty much the basics of chainsaws, chainsaw maintenance. You know, these are, if you've never sharpened a chain by hand, if you've never used a file, an individual file holder, and you're a little bit scared of ruining a chain, these things are great. They make it pretty much foolproof. You will always get a really nicely sharpened chain with properly lowered rakers. I highly recommend it. I know that Steel doesn't make these. It's a rebranded product from another company. There's a couple of these floating around out there, but the idea of them are all the same. They work really great. I don't recommend taking your chains to a chainsaw shop to sharpen them. They use a grinder. And if they're not careful, if they're just forcing it, they'll heat the teeth up to the point where they ruin the temper, and the steel, they'll get dull a lot quicker. So if you hand file it, they don't get hot, and it's just a good skill to have. So you can get a stump vise like this if you're out in the woods or not in your shop, and pound it into a stump or a piece of wood to have a nice stable platform, and just give the chain a bit of a touch up, and you're good to go again. So anyhow, Next video up, I will cover how to properly process a bowl blank with a chainsaw and do it safely. So anyhow, till next time, everybody, take care.